Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park on this Tuesday, June 6, 2023. Today, we have qualifying action, just 4 qualifiers on the agenda. Horses for the first qualifier starting to make their way out towards the track. Today's qualifiers features 3-year-olds and up. Coming up this weekend, we will have 2-year-old qualifiers tentatively scheduled for Friday and Saturday morning. So the starting gate is beginning to move into position for our first qualifier of this Tuesday morning. We have 3-year-olds and up on the pace. Number 1, Valley of Fear, a 3-year-old filly trained by Blake McIntosh. The driver is James McDonald. 2 is Walking Eagle, a 3-year-old gelding trained and driven by Dustin Jones. The 3 is Marshall Zhukov, 3-year-old colt trained by Richard Moreau. Sylvain Filion drives. The 4 is Barely a Sin, a 4-year-old gelding trained by Gary Murner. Make the driver Doug McNair. And number 5 is Lions Nighthawk, a 7-year-old gelding trained by Jeff Gillis. The driver is Scott Young. So it's a field of 5 on gate for our first qualifier of this Tuesday morning from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Track is fast, temperature approaching 20 degrees Celsius already, and a bit of a crosswind. So they swing into the stretch. They're on gate for qualifier number 1. And they're off and pacing. And from the outside, Lions Nighthawk is going forward to the early lead. Barely a Sin will also get around a trio of rivals as Marshall Zhukov got away in 3rd. Valley of Fear is 4th, and your early trailer is Walking Eagle. So the veteran in this group, the 7-year-old Lions Nighthawk, is out to the lead. A few of them taking it wide around the shadow there. So they come towards the opening quarter with Lions Nighthawk leading it on top by about a half dozen lengths. The opening quarter was cut out in 28-1. Into the backstretch, they get set to move, and the leader, Lions Nighthawk. A 14-time winner, this 7-year-old gelding has made over $300,000. First appearance since last October, and on the lead here, a loose lead of about 4 lengths. In second has been Barely a Sin, and then it's about 8 or 9 lengths going back to Marshall Zhukov in 3rd. Going around that one now, Valley of Fear is going to circle up into 3rd, and your trailer is Walking Eagle. They race by the half in 56-3, and the leader continues to be Lions Nighthawk. So after a 28-1 opener, the second panel was in 28-2. Lions Nighthawk to the final turn. Barely a Sin still in second. Valley of Fear has made some ground up on that nearest rival, and all of a sudden is now going to start to move towards the leader too, along with Barely a Sin as they're closing the gap on the leader Lions Nighthawk. Then we go back to Marshall Zhukov, and the trailer Walking Eagle now commits to the outside. So the lead just shrunk coming to 3/4 for Lions Nighthawk, as tipped to the outside is Barely a Sin, with Valley of Fear right behind. 3/4 was 1:26-3, 30 seconds in the 3rd quarter. That was for the leader Lions Nighthawk, who is now trying to fend off Barely a Sin, and on the outside, Valley of Fear. They come into the final 1/8 of the mile. It's still Lions Nighthawk holding at the inside. In the center, Barely a Sin. Valley of Fear trying to get by the both of them. Valley of Fear on the outside. Barely a Sin. Lions Nighthawk to the rail, coming down to the wire, and in the center, Barely a Sin got it from Valley of Fear second. Lions Nighthawk was 3rd. Then it was Marshall Zhukov and Walking Eagle, 1:55-2. Up next is qualifier number 2. We're on the trot here, 3-year-olds and up. Couple driver changes. James McDonald drives the 2 Stormont Mabel. Scott Young drives the 5 Horoscope. Number 1 is Lindy's Irish Cream, a 3-year-old filly trained by Blake McIntosh. In the sulky is Bob McClure. 2 is Stormont Mabel, a 4-year-old mare trained by Desiree Jones. Make the driver James McDonald. 3 is Watch a Pro, a 3-year-old gelding trained and driven by Matt Bax. The 4 is Stonebridge Bomber, 3-year-old gelding trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. And the 5 is Horoscope, a 5-year-old gelding trained by Terry McKibben. Make the driver Scott Young. Starting gate is rolling for our second qualifier here this morning at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Gate picking up speed, and here they come. They're off and trotting, and from the inside, Stormont Mabel hustles out from post position number 2. Watch a Pro is in the center, along with Stonebridge Bomber. To the inside is Lindy's Irish Cream, and Horoscope will take to the back in the early going. So up front, Stormont Mabel. We'll see if Stonebridge Bomber is going to drop into the 2-hole, and we'll do just that. In front of Watch a Pro in 3rd, Lindy's Irish Cream in 4th, and Horoscope in 5th. That's how they're lined up, and the field of 5 comes to the opening quarter. They follow the 4-year-old mare Stormont Mabel. Opening panel was 28 and 4. As they get set to move into the backstretch, it's a 2-length advantage here for Stormont Mabel. Stonebridge Bomber is in 2nd, 2 more lengths to Watch a Pro in 3rd. Gap of 3 back to Lindy's Irish Cream in 4th, and then 4 more lengths going back to Horoscope, the trailer, in 5th. So Stormont Mabel, who was 3 for 20 last year and posted 12 top 3 finishes from 20 starts, is on the lead. First appearance since January. Stormont Mabel opening quarter was 28 and 4. The half is hitting 57 and 4. Second quarter just a smidge slower. They went 29 seconds even to the final turn. Stonebridge Bomber, this 3-year-old gelded son of Muscle Mass, sits on the leader's helmet there in the deuce. Racing in 3rd is Watch a Pro. Lindy's Irish Cream, the 3-year-old filly, is about 4.5, 5 lengths from the front, racing there in 4th. And 5th is Horoscope. As they approach 3 quarters, Stormont Mabel has called the shots to this point, and Stormont Mabel is down to 3 quarters here in 1:27 and 4. 30 seconds even in the 3rd split. Off the turn and into the stretch. It's Stormont Mabel. Stonebridge Bomber right in behind, remains in 2nd. Here's Watch a Pro trying to sprint home there in 3rd. And now tipped to some open racetrack is Lindy's Irish Cream in 4th. With the final 1/8 of a mile being contested, it's still Stormont Mabel holding that lead by 1.5 lengths. Stonebridge Bomber trying to get a little closer in the final strides. Stormont Mabel, Stonebridge Bomber, Watch a Pro, Lindy's Irish Cream, and Horoscope, 1:56 and 2. We're getting set now for qualifier number 3. In this third qualifier, note that Scott Young is going to drive number 4, Theory Sealster. We've got fillies and mares on the pace here for the third qualifier. Number 1 is Lady Smith, a 3-year-old filly trained by Richard Moreau. The driver is Sylvain Filion. 2 is Dangerous Curves, 3-year-old filly trained by Gary Wallace with Jody Jameson. Number 3 is Virtual Kiss, a 3-year-old filly trained by Kyle Fellows. The driver is Doug McNair. Number 4 is Theory Sealster, a 4-year-old mare trained by Jonathan Lapointe. Make the driver Scott Young. The 5 is Dakota Shadow, a 3-year-old filly trained by Gary Murner with Louis Waugh. And the 6 is Little Bearcat, 6-year-old mare, also trained by Murner. The driver will be James McDonald. So it's a field of 6 taking their spots for qualifier number 3. And they're off and pacing here in qualifier number 3. Virtual Kiss gets a good beginning as that one is striding out strongly to the lead. So sprinting out to the early advantage is Virtual Kiss. Dangerous Curves gets away in second. Lady Smith inside third. Out in the center of the track, that is Theory Sealster. See if that one takes to the back as the final pair to the inside are Dakota Shadow and a Little Bearcat. To the opening quarter they go and Virtual Kiss is up front. So Virtual Kiss is leading the way from Dangerous Curves in second. The opening quarter, 28 seconds even. Into the backstretch they move, following Virtual Kiss. Dangerous Curves 2 lengths off the leader, and then it's about 7 or 8 lengths going back to Lady Smith in third. 2 more lengths then to Dakota Shadow, who is in fourth, being tracked by Little Bearcat in fifth, and 6 up the backside is Theory Sealster. So that 2-horse breakaway was contested for the opening 3/8 of the mile. They start to close in a little bit right now, as comfortable on the lead as Virtual Kiss, while Dangerous Curves tags along. Closing that gap, Lady Smith in third, so too then does Dakota Shadow, Little Bearcat, and Theory Sealster rounds it out. 57 seconds was the half-mile clocking. That was the second quarter in 29 seconds, and it's Virtual Kiss, the daughter of He's Watching, continuing to do the heavy lifting here this morning. Being in second there is Dangerous Curves, who's getting that 2-hole ride. Now it's 3.5 lengths going back to Lady Smith in third. Fourth remains Dakota Shadow, Little Bearcat, and at the back, Theory Sealster's off the wood. So to 3 quarters they go, and Virtual Kiss is past that marker in 1:26 and 1, 29 and 1 in the third quarter into the stretch. Let's see if Virtual Kiss can go all the way. Dangerous Curves, see if that one has something to say. Now up into third is Dakota Shadow. Little Bearcat's following that path. Battling at the inside is Lady Smith, and Theory Sealster rounds things out. Into the final 8th, it's still Virtual Kiss with the lead. Dangerous Curve stays right on the leader's back. They come to the edge of the tote board, and it will be Virtual Kiss as Dangerous Curves comes out late to finish with pace. Finishing in third was Dakota Shadow. Then we go to Lady Smith, followed by Little Bearcat and Theory Sealster, 1:54 and 1. Up next is our fourth and final qualifier here today from Woodbine Mohawk Park. A field of 5 scheduled to go forward. One driver change, the 5, Peso Hanover. It'll be James McDonald. Here's the field of trotters. The one is Titbier en masse. Louis Waugh driving for trainer Jean-Francois Maguire. That's a 3-year-old filly. Two Good Trouble, a 3-year-old colt, trained by Kyle Fellows. It'll be Sylvain Filion to drive. 3 Heartbreak Beat, 3-year-old colt. Andre Goish trains and drives. 4 Thunderously, Gino Toscani for trainer Desiree Jones. Behind that, 3-year-old colt. The 5 Peso Hanover, 3-year-old gelding. James McDonald driving for Desiree Jones. So they're off and trotting here in the 4th qualifier. And a tough beginning there for the 4 Thunderously. The other 4 go out well. From the middle, that is Heartbreak Beat, who is going to come away with the early advantage. Teeth Beer en masse is at the inside 2nd. Then Good Trouble in 3rd. Peso Hanover 4th. And Thunderously is looking to catch on up and is doing just that. So around the first turn they go. And making the front, Heartbreak Beat. From Teeth Beer en masse 2nd. Then 3rd, Good Trouble. Peso Hanover and Thunderously 5th. 30-1 was the opening quarter. As they get set to move into the backstretch, our leader is Heartbreak Beat. This is a 3-year-old son of Tactical Landing. This colt is up front by 2 lengths from Teeth Beer en masse in 2nd. Then in 3rd is the qualifier debut from number 2, Good Trouble. Tracking that one 4th is Peso Hanover, and Thunderously rounds things out. No change in order in the second quarter. 30-1 was the opening split. The half is going to come up on the board in 1 minute and 3/5, so just a tad slower there. 30-2 second quarter. To the final turn they go. 1 for 4 last year was Heartbreak Beat. This is the second qualifier of the season, and this 3-year-old stretches out the lead to 2. Teeth Beer en masse in 2nd. Off stride on the lead went Heartbreak Beat. Heartbreak Beat made a miscue there, so moving up to the lead now. Teeth Beer en masse asked to go on. Slipping out now off the rail is Good Trouble between rivals. Following through is Peso Hanover, and Thunderously is 5th. 3/4 hit in 132-1. They get set to swing for home. And inheriting the lead on the final turn was Titbier en masse, but here on the outside is Good Trouble. Peso Hanover is right in behind. We'll see which way that one opts to go. Now starts to tip to the outside, then back in 4th. Trying to come on is Thunderously, and Heartbreak Beat is in 5th. Coming through the center is Peso Hanover, who strikes the lead in the final 16th. Peso Hanover takes qualifier 4. Good Trouble was 2nd. Thunderously up for 3rd. Titbier en masse and Heartbreak Beat, 2:01-2. That's going to conclude today's qualifiers. As a reminder, next qualifying is scheduled for Friday morning, 10 a.m. post time. We're expecting to have enough 2-year-olds for 2 days of qualifiers. That being the case, we'll have qualifiers Friday and Saturday morning, both days at 10 a.m.